The revelation. The vast chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity as representatives from 100 different species debated the latest developments in interstellar politics. Holographic displays flickered above the gathered delegates, showcasing star maps, trade routes, and flashes of breaking news from across the galaxy. Amidst this cacophony of alien languages and translator devices, Ambassador Zara Chen of Earth sat quietly, her dark eyes scanning the room. To most of the gathered aliens, humans were still seen as newcomers to the galactic stage, quaint primitives who had stumbled onto faster-than-light travel barely a century ago. Zara allowed herself a small smile. If only they knew. A commotion near the main entrance drew her attention. Vexel, the mantis-like Accord diplomat, was gesticulating wildly with his upper limbs, his carapace flushed and agitated orange. Impossible. Vexel's translator squealed. The readings must be in error. There is no way the humans could have amassed such a fleet without our knowledge. Zara's pulse quickened. It was time. She stood, her crisp blue uniform a stark contrast to the varied attire of the alien delegates. Esteemed members of the council, she began, her voice carrying across the suddenly hushed chamber. I'm afraid Diplomat Vexel is correct. The readings are not in error. A murmur rippled through the gathered aliens as Zara continued, her voice steady. For the past 5 decades, humanity has been constructing a fleet in secret. Today, we reveal ourselves in full. With a gesture, she activated her own holographic display. The image that materialized above the council floor drew gasps and cries of alarm from the assembled delegates. A massive armada of sleek and angular ships hung in the void of space, their designs unlike anything seen in the known galaxy. Impossible, cried Archprelate, his tentacles writhing in agitation. Your kind barely had ion drives when you joined the council. This is beyond anything in our databases. Zara nodded firmly. We've kept much hidden, Archprelate. The time for secrets is over. As if on cue, alarms began to blare throughout the council chamber. On every display, the same message flashed. Unknown approach. VCTT Sol System. Pandemonium erupted as delegates scrambled for communication devices, barking orders to distant homeworlds, while others simply stared at the images in stunned silence. Through it all, Zara remained calm. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for since they first detected alien signals all those years ago. The real first contact. Not merely a cautious exchange, but a true meeting of civilizations on equal footing. A heavy hand fell on her shoulder. Zara turned to find herself face to face with General CRA, a hulking tan military leader on the council. His 4 eyes narrowed as he regarded her with disdain. You've doomed us all, human, he growled. The Accord will see this as an act of war, decades of peace shattered by your duplicity. Zara met his gaze unflinchingly. Peace built on lies is no peace at all, General, she replied firmly. We are tired of playing the part of a backward species, of having our colonies restricted and our technology scrutinized. Humanity will claim its rightful place among the stars. Before CRA could respond, another voice cut through the chaos. A command from Chancellor Ixel of the Sofan Collective. Her crystalline form glowed with barely contained energy. As one of the senior-most members of the council, her words carried weight even in this moment of crisis. Ambassador Chen, Ixel's melodious voice rang out. You will explain yourself and your people's actions now. Zara nodded and took a deep breath. This was not just her moment but that of all humanity. Honor delegates, she began again, her voice carrying to every corner of that vast chamber. What I am about to tell you will rewrite galactic history as you know it. She paused for effect before continuing. Humanity's first encounter with alien life did not occur a century ago as you've been led to believe. It happened nearly 300 years in our past. The revelation sent fresh shockwaves through those assembled aliens. Zora pressed on undaunted. We detected your signals, your ships passing near our solar system, and we saw both wonders and horrors within your civilizations. Her tone shifted slightly as she added gravely, "And we made a choice. We would not enter this galactic stage as supplicants or primitives." With another gesture, she shifted her holographic display once more. Now it showed humanity's technological leaps over those past 3 centuries. Antimatter reactors, gravity manipulation, faster than light travel, far beyond what had been thought possible by any standard. "We hid our true progress," she explained further. "We presented a false face to the galaxy, while pushing boundaries in science and engineering beyond anything you thought possible." The chamber fell deathly silent now. Every alien eye and sensory organ was fixed on Zara, as she continued speaking with conviction. "But we did not do this out of malice or conquest. We did it out of caution, and yes, out of fear." She could feel tension building within that vast room as she concluded her argument. "We saw how smaller or weaker species were treated within your accord. We witnessed conflicts raging across these stars." Zara's gaze swept across those gathered before her as she asserted firmly, "Humanity chose to venture into this vast, dangerous universe on our own terms." Chancellor Ixal's crystalline form pulsed with intense light. There was both curiosity and caution in her expression as she asked pointedly, "And what are those terms, Ambassador? Why reveal yourselves now in such a provocative manner?" Zara's expression softened slightly at Ixal's inquiry. She understood its weight well enough. "Because it is time for change," she replied resolutely. "The current structure of this galactic accord is unsustainable. The stronger races dominate while younger species scrape by on its fringes. We believe there exists a better way, a true partnership among equals," she stated boldly. General CRA snorted derisively at that notion. "Pretty words to hide your lies. Why should we trust anything you say now?" "Because you have no choice," Zara replied firmly yet calmly. "Our fleet stands ready. We do not wish for war, but we will not be ignored or dismissed. Humanity extends its hand in friendship," she added emphatically, "but it is backed by strength." The implications hung heavy in that air. Humanity had long fought to be seen merely as minor players within galactic affairs. Now they revealed themselves as major powers instead. The entire balance of power within their accord teetered precariously upon an edge when Chancellor Ixal spoke again. "You speak of partnership yet threaten us with your hidden armada. These are not actions indicative of a peaceful race." Zara nodded solemnly, acknowledging Ixal's point without hesitation. "We come with strength so that we may never need to use it. If we had revealed ourselves earlier," she continued earnestly while locking eyes with various delegates around her, "would you have truly accepted us as equals? Or would humanity have been relegated again to those fringes like so many other young races?" A ripple of uncomfortable murmurs spread through that chamber. Many knew deep down that what she said held truth, even if they were loath to admit it aloud. "What do you propose then?" Chancellor Ixal asked cautiously but without openly hostile intent. Zara straightened herself once more, her voice ringing clear amid uncertainty. "A new accord, one that truly values contributions from all its members, not just those oldest or strongest." She paused briefly before continuing. "Humanity offers its technology, its resources, and yes, its military strength, in service towards creating a more just, equitable galaxy." Another pause allowed time for reflection before concluding. "But make no mistake, we will not be subjugated or controlled. Humanity's destiny will be our own." As debates raged throughout that council chamber following these revelations, the atmosphere shifted dramatically around them all. An air thick with tension, yet also hope for potential change hung palpably overhead. Zara stood tall amidst this storm, a beacon representing countless souls across hundreds upon hundreds more worlds holding their breath, while watching proceedings unfold via quantum-entangled transmissions. The future lay balanced precariously upon knife's edge now. Humanity had made its move. Now it was time for them all to see how stars would align going forward into uncertain futures ahead. Diplomatic turmoil. The days following humanity's dramatic revelation were a whirlwind of emergency sessions, heated debates, and frantic diplomacy. The Galactic Council chamber, once a place of measured discussion and careful politicking, now crackled with an energy bordering on barely contained chaos. Ambassador Zara Chen found herself at the center of it all, fielding questions, deflecting accusations, and presenting humanity's case to a galaxy still reeling from the shock. As she stood at the podium facing the assembled delegates, her composure was a stark contrast to the agitation around her. Holographic displays flickered above the council floor, showing complex diagrams and projections that illustrated humanity's proposed changes to the Galactic Accord. And so we propose a complete restructuring of the Accord's resource allocation protocols, Zara concluded, gesturing to the floating images. This will ensure a more equitable distribution of rare elements and energy sources, particularly to developing worlds. The response was immediate and heated. Vexel, the Accord diplomat with his mantis-like features, chittered angrily. Preposterous. You propose to upend centuries of carefully negotiated treaties based on nothing more than vague promises and thinly veiled threats. Zara's eyes narrowed slightly at Vexel's outburst. With respect, Diplomat Vexel, those treaties have led to stagnation and inequality. How many promising young species have withered because they were denied access to critical resources? Before Vexel could retort, another voice cut in. Fax, the cybernetically enhanced representative of the Mech Collective. His metallic voice carried an undertone of static as he added, "The human makes a valid point. Our own analysis suggests that current resource distribution heavily favors established powers, stifling innovation." A low murmur spread through the chamber. The Mech Collective was known for its cold logic and dispassionate analysis. Their support, however tentative, lent weight to humanity's arguments. Chancellor Ixel's crystalline form pulsed with a soft blue light, a sign of deep contemplation among her species. Ambassador Chen, she began cautiously, while your proposals are intriguing, they represent a radical departure from established galactic norms. The stability of the Accord has come at too high a price. Zara interrupted her gently but firmly. Stability built on oppression is a powder keg waiting to explode. We've seen tensions simmering on 100 worlds. Humanity offers a chance for genuine progress. The debate raged on for hours with factions forming and dissolving as quickly as stellar nurseries. Some species, particularly younger or less influential ones, cautiously supported human proposals. Others, mainly those with the most to lose from a reshuffling of power, vehemently opposed any change. As the session finally adjourned for the day, Zara found herself cornered by an unlikely pair. General CRA of the Tans and Shith, a Kulan philosopher known for his radical ideas. Quite a performance, Ambassador, CRA rumbled, his massive form towering over Zara. But pretty words and fancy holograms don't change the fact that you've been lying to us all for a century. Shith's tentacles waved in agitation as he interjected, perhaps, but can we afford to dismiss their ideas out of hand? The humans have achieved in secret what many thought impossible. Their knowledge could upset the entire balance of power. CRA interrupted again with skepticism. Who knows what other secrets they're hiding? For all we know, that fleet of theirs could be the vanguard of an invasion force. Zara met CRA's four-eyed gaze steadily. If we wanted to conquer, we would have struck without warning. We chose diplomacy. And if diplomacy fails, CRA pressed. Then we all lose, Zara replied simply. As the trio continued their tense discussion, none noticed the shadowy figure observing from a hidden alcove. Agent Santi of the Obsidian Conclave, the galaxy's most feared intelligence network. He watched with keen interest. His cybernetic implants recorded every word and micro-expression. The humans were hiding something, of that he was certain. Their technological leap was too great, their strategy too perfect. There was a missing piece to this puzzle, and Santi was determined to find it. Light years away aboard the human flagship Audacity, Admiral Lena Vasquez stared out at the vast starfield. The quantum-entangled communicator chimed, signaling an incoming transmission from Earth. "Report, Admiral," came the grave voice of President Casta. "The fleet remains at high alert, Madame President," Elena responded crisply. "No overtly hostile moves from Accord forces yet. However, we're detecting increased activity near several key resource points." There was a pause before President Casta spoke again. "And?" Lena's expression tightened as she replied cautiously, "Secure, but I must again express my reservations about." President Casta cut her off sharply. "The decision has been made. If negotiations fail, we must be prepared to use every asset at our disposal." As communication ended abruptly, Lena turned her gaze back to the stars. Out there amid the cold silence of space, ancient forces stirred. Humanity had upset the board. Now all players were scrambling to adapt. Back in the council chambers as debates raged on, a junior Sophan researcher made a startling discovery buried deep in the Accord's oldest archives. Almost hidden beneath layers of encryption was a fragment of data that made no sense. It spoke of a threat from beyond the galactic rim, a danger so great that it had been purged from official records, and hinted at a terrible choice made by the eldest races, a sacrifice that had shaped the course of galactic history for eons. As her trembling appendage hovered over the transmit button about to alert her superiors, she hesitated. The information was too explosive, too world-shattering. Who could she trust? In that moment of indecision, a shadow fell across her console. An inhumanly strong hand clamped down on her shoulder. "I'll take that, friend," whispered a voice with an unmistakably human accent. Before she could react further or scream for help, the world around her went dark. When she awoke moments later, the data was gone. And with it, a secret that could unravel the very fabric of galactic civilization. The real game was only just beginning. With tensions escalating within both diplomatic circles and military fronts across various systems, the stage was set for conflict unlike any seen before in recorded history. First contact skirmishes. The tension that had been building since humanity's revelation finally erupted into violence in the Oma Center cluster. What began as a dispute over mining rights in a resource-rich asteroid field quickly escalated into a full-blown battle between human forces and a coalition of Accord species. The stakes were high, and both sides were determined to assert their dominance. Aboard the human cruiser Defiant, Captain Alexei Kidov gripped the arms of his command chair as enemy fire rocked the ship. The bridge was a flurry of activity, officers calling out status reports and damage assessments. Tauran Battle Group moving to flank our position. Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported, her fingers dancing across the tactical display. Mech Collective fighters on an intercept course. Alexei's eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic battle map. The alien forces outnumbered them nearly 3-1, but numbers weren't everything. "Activate the Nexus drive," he ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. His first officer, Commander Rayam Nasser, looked at him in surprise. "Sir, that'll put us right in the middle of their formation." Alexei allowed himself a grim smile. "Exactly." The Defiant shuddered as its revolutionary Nexus drive spooled up. In a flash of twisted space-time, the cruiser vanished, reappearing moments later in the heart of the enemy fleet. "All batteries, fire at will," Alexei commanded. The human ship unleashed a devastating barrage. Its advanced weaponry tore through alien shields as if they were tissue paper. Confusion reigned in the enemy ranks as they struggled to reorient themselves against this impossible maneuver. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out as humanity's hidden technological edge became apparent. Ships danced through space with impossible agility. Energy weapons of unmatched power lashed out at alien vessels, while impenetrable shields shrugged off attacks that should have vaporized them. Yet the Accord forces fought back with ferocity born of desperation. Tauran battle cruisers unleashed swarms of self-replicating missiles, while Mech Collective ships utilized their quantum-entangled AI to coordinate attacks with terrifying efficiency. The battle raged on, each side unwilling to yield an inch. As news of the conflict spread across the galaxy like wildfire, populations on 100 worlds watched in awe and fear as humanity flexed its military might for the first time. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chambers, the mood was grim. Ambassador Zara Chen stood before the assembled delegates, her face a mask of determination. "This conflict was not of our choosing," she declared, her voice ringing through the chamber. "We came in peace, offering a hand of friendship. It was met with aggression and fear." Vexel, the Accord diplomat known for his chittering indignation, responded sharply. "You revealed a hidden Armada and demanded we reshape our entire society. What did you expect?" "We expected reason," Zara shot back fiercely. "Instead, we got paranoia and violence. Make no mistake, humanity will defend itself, but it's not too late to choose a different path." As debates raged within the council chamber about how to respond to this escalating conflict, Captain Kidov surveyed the aftermath aboard Defiant. The atmosphere was tense. Multiple hull breaches had left sections of the ship exposed to vacuum. "Status report," he demanded. Commander Nasser's voice was grim. "We've lost the Intrepid and the Valiant. The Daedalus is heavily damaged but operational. Enemy forces are in full retreat." "But what?" Alexei prompted. Nasser swallowed hard before continuing. "Sir, we're detecting a massive energy buildup from the Tauran flagship. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Alexei's heart raced as he processed this information. The Taurans were known for their powerful weaponry and advanced technology. If they were preparing something unprecedented, it could turn the tide of battle against them. "Divert all power to shields and prepare for evasive maneuvers," he ordered urgently. As his crew sprang into action, Alexei's mind raced with strategies and contingencies. They had gained ground today, but at what cost? Back in the council chambers, tensions reached a boiling point as representatives debated their next move. Some factions called for immediate retaliation against humanity for their perceived aggression. Others urged caution, suggesting that diplomacy might still hold some promise. Chancellor Ixel's crystalline form pulsed with energy as she attempted to restore order amid rising tempers. "We must consider our options carefully," she said firmly. "This is not just about us. It's about all species within this accord." "Exactly," shouted Vexel from his seat. "If we allow humanity to dictate terms now, what will stop them from doing so again in future conflicts?" Zara stepped forward again, her resolve unwavering despite mounting pressure from all sides. "We are not your enemies. We seek partnership, not domination. But if you force us into a corner—" Her voice trailed off ominously as she glanced at her fellow delegates. Many shifted uncomfortably under her gaze. Meanwhile, on board Defiant, alarms blared as energy readings surged from the Tauran flagship, an ominous sign that something catastrophic was about to unfold. "Captain," Lieutenant Chen shouted from her station, "the Tauran flagship is charging its main weapon." Alexei's heart sank as he realized what that meant. The Taurans were preparing to fire an energy weapon capable of devastating entire fleets in one shot. "All hands, brace for impact," he shouted over the din of alarms. The crew scrambled to secure themselves as Alexei gripped his command chair tightly. Time seemed to slow as he awaited what felt like an inevitable collision with destiny. In that moment of uncertainty aboard Defiant, across light years away within council chambers filled with heated debates, a single thought echoed through Zora's mind. How far would they go to protect their newfound strength? As tension mounted both on board Defiant and within council chambers, one question loomed larger than any other. Would humanity's secret fleet be seen as saviors or conquerors? The answer would soon reveal itself amidst chaos, a conflict that would shape not only their destinies, but also that of countless others scattered among stars.